Resilience is required. It does not mean that you don't fall down. You fall down, but then you don't stay down. You must get up to fight again. Nobody goes through life as if there's no fight. You're fighting. You're fighting mentally. You're fighting in terms of relationship, financially. I call it the God within you. And it comes from your sense of being, your sense of purpose. This is what my life is about. And so if you give up on that, then what do you live for? That is really resilience. Why I'm doing this. And I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for the lives that I'm changing. If you give up, many will be lost. I'm not sure there is anybody who is always optimistic. It's natural that some things will make you think the other side. The positivity must overcome the negativity. It does not mean that you don't see the negativity, but you don't operate with the negativity. You experience more, you read more, you search more. Your belief must grow. You have to be flexible. And the world that we live in, those who succeed are those who are able to move as they gather more in terms of knowledge. Those who want to really do something to change the course, they are different. The things that they stand for, what feeds them is different. The questions that they ask, they're different. And that's why it's not for the weak. Full commitment to continuous learning. You must be hungry for knowledge. You must be honing your craft, tools, your mindset, your skill set, your relationship, constantly. Just like using water to cool a system. Life is generating a lot of heat. The very thing that you need to cool the heat is the knowledge. Those who are not able to take the fight with entrepreneurship is because they think they are all, therefore they don't need any addition. So when it comes to failure, it's part of the process. When the child starts to walk, you are refining yourself. If your decisions are right, you succeed. The decisions are wrong, that's why you fail. Decisions are contingent on the information that is available to you, which means that the more you learn, it gets to a point that you're able to step well, and then you start to win. That's where you need the resilience, actually. And so until you get to that stage where your skill sets are able to help you to make the right decision, you don't give up. And that's the point you start to see exponential success. Have the growth mindset and know that you have to build. And you cannot just give up on other people and say that everybody is a thief. There's so many things that we have that are very good with what we have with our culture. You cannot demand efficiency without structure. You can't give up on yourself. You can give up on something that is not working, which is fair. Use the experience, transition to another area. We're being taught to look for a defined path to succeed with our dreams. It becomes very difficult for us to endure the things that will come our way as we set those goals, those visions, that business. If there is anything that will prevent us from getting to our dreams, our goals, will be this thing they call resilience. When you tell your friends, your family, that I want to go after this, I want to build this, I want to build this organization, I want to build this business, I want to achieve this, a lot of them will give you very good, technical, wise, protective advice. That's why very few people dare to achieve things beyond the ordinary. When you're trying to do business here, there are things that you must know to be resilient. The one who will succeed, the one who will win the race, will be the one who is still running in spite of everything that happens. And it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of strength to keep going when everybody else is telling you have done enough. Give up, stop it, there's no need. Why are you worrying yourself so much? Resilience is that supernatural force that is resident in all of us, that when it connects with that vision, we don't rest until that vision is born. If you want to listen, you will always hear that voice, that thing that is within you. And that is what separates us from everybody else. The number one element that will make sure that we succeed with our business, with our dreams. And many of us think of our comfort, and that's why we don't think large. When you don't have a well-defined sense of purpose as to why you are building that business, you will not have the stamina to start. You have to have a certain kind of knowledge. You have to have a certain kind of understanding. You only see from what we know. The kind of knowledge that we are given in the classroom, the kind of knowledge that we are given to write exam, don't make us that resilient. When it comes to life itself, and a lot of people have succeeded without classroom knowledge, but there's something that they have. If they say that they are going to do this, they are ready to stay at it until they succeed. If you go to any field in life, those who have been successful in that field have been people who have been very much resilient. Sometimes they fail so much and everybody will laugh at them. Sometimes they even call them mad, crazy, because it's so obvious that what you're doing. And as a matter of fact, in this life, if what you're doing makes sense, you're not doing something well. When everybody agrees with you, what you're doing doesn't make sense. When you have a lot of people not agreeing with what you're doing, especially at the seat level, it's so likely that what you're doing is right. When you start something and the people around you, the immediate family, the immediate friends, applauding you, when they are hailing you, it's so likely that what you're doing is normal. And sometimes when you are not even sure yourself it's so likely that that is the thing that will usher you into your greatness. It does not mean you won't fail. It does not mean you won't try to give up. It means that you still, in spite of all those things that will happen, in spite of all those emotions that will come up, in spite of all the mistakes, the errors, you will still continue to go until you see the fruit of your labor. That's the number one thing that you need to succeed with your business. And so when you are unaware of that, you will throw in the towel, and you have to have long-term view, 5 years in perspective. You have to have 10 years, 20 years. You have to think far, because it's not just you being resilient, it's also you developing your skill set. If you're not becoming better and you're just say that I'm not going to give up, then you're not going to get the result. The fact that you're not giving up does not mean that you're getting results. You have to keep at it to become better than the previous day. Then it gets to a point that things start to become a bit easier, and then you start to get results. Some people will just tell themselves, I'm not going to give up, but then they are not becoming better. That's not the kind of resilience I'm talking about. You must know yourself. What is it that you do well? Have you polished it? Are you developing that? You win with the strength that you have developed. Then you prevent the losses by covering your weakness. The guy who is very good as a boxer is not trying to become a great footballer. The moment he says that, my weakness is football, so let me go and polish that, loses focus on his strength and he doesn't win, even though he may say, I will not give up. So resilience, you must have that sense of purpose. So if you don't define that, you will give up. You should be able to define what your life is about. And you should also be able to define what the business that you're trying to build is about. You have to think beyond yourself. It should not be just you want comfort. What can you do for the entire continent, for the entire country? What is it that you want to change? But once you have a vision that is bigger than you, you'll be able to stand. The moment you start to get some sense of history, African history especially, Pan-African education. Without that kind of education, without that kind of history, it will be very difficult for you to be resilient, to be tough-minded as an African. A lot of us don't even have that kind of knowledge. That's why we give up so easily. That's why we do a lot of this comparison. In this country, this is how it is done here. In Ghana, it is done here. We've been educated, but largely, they didn't give us our own tools in those kind of education. So when we come out, we are looking for England kind of environment. We are looking for American kind of environment. If you don't have this kind of understanding, you'll be so much frustrated.